anyone have any changes or corrections? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved as submitted. We have no special presentations tonight, so we'll go into reports. Finance Committee, anything to report?
No report, thank you.
Acting Finance Director, anything to report?
In the packet is the Finance Director's report. I want to make sure that was mentioned.
Committee of the Whole, anything to report?
Yes, our last meeting was on August 8th. Our next meeting is tonight following this meeting. Thank you.
City Manager, anything to report?
I have nothing beyond the written report, Mayor, unless there are questions.
Law Director, anything to report?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I have 3 items. One is a request to add ordinance number 2167-24 to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures to the agenda for this evening. I would just need a motion and a vote for that.
I'll make a motion that we add the legislation as outlined by Law Director. Motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes,
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes,
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. The second is a request to add Resolution 8069-24 to the agenda, which is a resolution authorizing the city manager to engage Squire Patton Boggs LLP for professional legal services related to tax increment financing. I would, again, just need a motion and a vote, please.
I'll make a motion that be added to the agenda, resolution 807024.
You've heard the motion. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
And thank you, Mayor. The last item would be a request to add Resolution 8070-24 to the agenda, which is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Shared Resource Center for the provision of financial consulting services.
I'll make a motion to add that legislation for the Law Director's request.
You've heard the motion. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes. And now we'll go into the mayor's report. I have 2 things on my agenda. The first thing is I would like to wish Cora Ellen a happy birthday today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now for my, no, we're not singing.
Please don't.
Now for my mayor's court report. For the month of July 2024, the gross revenues for mayor's court was $21,888. After various expenses and disbursements, a total of $16,581 was deposited into the general fund. The other thing I have, Olive Council has at their Dallas, is a thing regarding our candy for the Boo Bash. And I wanted to go over with everyone to see what we want to do with this. And there was another suggestion that if we said, get the 2,000 candy bars, that what's ever left, we can rewrap them for Christmas instead of just giving them out at Halloween. Just buy the wrappers and just rewrap.
Good idea.
But I wanted everyone's opinion on how many. How many did you say came last year, Brett? Right. There was very few parents that didn't want a candy. I'm telling you. So I wanted, because so we can get this going, I wanted to bring it up tonight. Does anybody have any suggestions or?
I suggest the 2,000. I'd rather have too many than not enough.
Is there no way we can get it cheaper? This is outrageous.
Not really, I don't think so.
$4,000?
But if you divide that, because that's the wrapping too.
What's your expectation for all the departments? Are we expecting all the departments to be there this year? Because I thought you wanted like street representation from all the departments.
That's up to the department.
Okay.
I mean, we never told anyone that.
We're
they
just trying to
couldn't.
we're just trying to fit like the table situation in that room. So I know there's a couple that aren't coming back if we wanted to fill in with maintenance department, street department, because I don't believe they've been there. I don't think we've been there in the past.
I mean,
So-
that's up to them. I
Okay.
mean, us and fire were there last year, and the police are always there.
Police and fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So to me, it was whoever department wanted to be
Okay.
there, but this was going to be just from council,
Okay.
these candy bars. So,
Sorry, I remember I saw you guys last year with my boy. I brought my boy through. And just the conversation we had at the time, I can remember you saying it'd be nice to see the other departments
yes,
volunteer to get involved in this. So I just, if that is what you'd like, we would, my department would be more than happy to be involved in it.
well, we weren't going to force anyone to be
Of
involved.
course,
If
yeah.
Anybody who wants, any department that wants to join us is more than welcome.
Okay.
Now, volunteer your time.
Okay.
I mean, that would be great. So, back to the candy bars. Are we going to take a vote, or how do you guys want to approach this?
That's about $1.70 a candy bar, but that includes all the cutting, wrapping, and
Right.
printing of everything. So,
$1.70 is not bad for a candy bar. Not when you go to Kroger's and they're two something a candy bar now.
Or some places.
Yeah, or more.
that fall within the budget that we have set forth.
We have more than enough in
Yeah,
our
so the
budget.
budget is 1,000, but like we talked before, there's money in the other
Yeah,
lines of the budget that
miscellaneous.
could be transferred, yes.
You know, other line items that we can move the money down. And it's something we can think about later on if we want, on if there is any left. Say there's 200 left, do we can pay Rand to just give us the wrappers. I'd be more than happy to wrap them again myself, give them out at Christmas, or we can give them out at the Halloween thing.
Yeah, I agree with Miss Marcus, 2,000, it's better to have more than not enough.
Do we want to take like a silent vote on that? Amy, can we take a vote on 2,000?
2,000 candy bars,
Yeah, this is
yes.
just,
Okay, Mrs. Witt?
it is a lot.
I'm going to have to say no.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes?
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
I'm going to say yes because we don't really spend any of our council money throughout the year anyway. So I would rather spend it giving it to the people than to just let it sit.
If you have leftovers, Parks and Rec will take them. I'll eat them. So.
You wait a minute. 200 of them. Okay, so I'm a yes. Okay, so we are done with that. I wanted to get that out of the way. So now we are going to go into, we have no guest speakers. We're going to go into our business.
Ordinance 2165-24, an ordinance approving amendment of Section 1.1 definitions of the city's personnel policy manual.
This ordinance approves an amendment to the City of Moraine's Personnel Policy Manual regarding the definition of the appointing authority. This is on for a first reading, second reading, and final adoption will be at the September 12th regular council meeting.
Ordinance 2166-24, an ordinance certifying unpaid charges for grass mowing and weed cutting to the Montgomery County Auditor for collections with real estate taxes in the amount of $12,850.90.
This ordinance certifies unpaid charges for grass mowing and weed cutting on certain properties and forwards them to the Montgomery County Auditor to allow for collections with real estate taxes. This is on for the first reading. Second and final adoption will be at the September 12th regular council meeting.
Ordinance 2167-24, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Moraine, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance allows for supplemental appropriations in the general fund for the provision of financial consulting services. Declare an emergency and suspend the rules to allow the second and final adoption at this meeting.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ordinance 2167-24, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Moraine, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8064-24, a resolution extending moratorium on the issuing and processing of permits allowing retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of adult-use marijuana within the City of Moraine, Ohio.
This resolution extends the city's moratorium on the issuance and processing of any permits for operators, cultivators, and retail dispensaries of adult-use marijuana in the city. This will allow for additional time to consider amendments or prepare regulations that may be necessary and will expire 12 months from the date of enactment of this resolution on August 22nd, 2025. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8065-24, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a medic cot and cot load system from Stryker to be used by the fire department in the amount of $67,549.85.
This resolution approves the purchase of a medic cot and a cot load system for the use in the fire division's new medic vehicle that will be arriving soon. This purchase is from a sole source provider to be used for municipal purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8066-24, a resolution authorizing the transfer of appropriations between capital improvement fund expense accounts in order to provide sufficient appropriations to meet current and future obligations of the City of Moraine for the period January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
This resolution authorizes the transfer of appropriations within the Engineers Capital Improvement Fund budget line in order to cover expenses related to the LB Road Bridge Replacement Project. Motion to approve?
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8067-24, a resolution authorizing the City of Moraine to accept the proposal of and enter into an agreement with Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber of Ohio, Inc., DBA Fishbeck, for professional design services for the LB Road Bridge Replacement Project.
This resolution accepts the proposal and approves the agreement with Fishbeck for design services for the LB Road Bridge Replacement Project, with costs to be paid from the Capital Improvement Fund. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes,
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8068-24, a resolution approving the application of Shearer's Food LLC for a 10-year 75% tax abatement for investment in real property renovation in an amount of $15,575,000, and said investment being made within the City of Moraine's Community Reinvestment Area Number 2.
This resolution approves the application from Shearer's Foods for real property tax abatement in order to make improvements and renovations at 4100 Springboro Pike. This should generate 250 new full-time jobs within the next 3 years and is subject to terms and conditions set forth in the city CRA tax abatement program. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8069-24, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Squire Patton Boggs U.S. LLP for professional legal services related to tax increment financing.
This resolution allows for an agreement with Square Patton Boggs for legal services in relation to tax increment financing with costs to be paid from the general fund. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 8070-24, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Shared Resource Center for provision of financial consulting services at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
This resolution approves an agreement with the Shared Resource Center for financial consulting services with total costs not to exceed $50,000 and paid from the general fund. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes. And we will now go into any other business. We will do reports. Fire Department, anything to report?
I just want to say thank you for the cot. Nothing else, ma'am.
Police Department, anything to report?
Just that everybody at the police department wishes Miss Allen a happy birthday, and I have nothing further. Thank you.
Building and Maintenance Department, anything to report?
Most importantly, Ms. Allen, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Also, I want to let you guys know you're going to be seeing some construction throughout the city. You probably already have, with the roofs being replaced right now. The maintenance shop will be wrapping up first of the week, next week. We will be starting towards the first of the week, next week, on working on the patio area at the Civic Center for the roofing project. And we've already started part of the rec center. So we're plugging right along.
Street Department, anything to report?
No report other than happy birthday, Miss Allen.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation Director, anything to report?
Happy birthday, Miss Allen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Got a couple things. The master park plan, the open house will be this Wednesday at the Payne Rec Center from 6 to 8 p.m. So we have put signs out, QR codes are out in all the parks. I put them in a couple of the businesses around here, so hopefully we get a lot of people to come to that on Wednesday night. We encourage everybody, it doesn't have to be just Moraine, it can be anybody that uses our facilities, uses our parks. Everybody's encouraged to come to that. Also with that, once that happens, I'll make sure I gather the data and I'll bring you guys a report, an early report come next month, either the first meeting in September or the second meeting in September. And then Doggy Date Night is Saturday night at Wax Park from 6 to 8. And then next Friday is the second movie night at Wax Park. It will be Back to the Future. So we'll be showing an old school movie. And then I don't know if anybody has seen it, but the walking path from Deer Meadow. I don't know if you were going to do this, but I kind of stepping on our toes. But it's being done from Deer Meadow all the way to the bridge. So if you see that going on, it looks really good so far. So that's all I got. Thank you.
City Engineer, anything to report?
Happy birthday. And thank you for the LB Bridge acceptance for that. And as far as the walking paths, the majority of the walking paths throughout the city are being worked on. They're all kind of being done as they get the machine to the next one. So you'll see those improvements.
City Manager, anything further to report?
I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Law Director, anything further to report?
Happy birthday, Miss Allen.
Acting Finance Director, anything further to report? Clerk of Council, anything to report?
Nothing other than happy birthday to Mrs. Allen.
Thank you.
Miss Ellen, anything to report?
I just like to thank everyone for their happy birthday wishes.
Miss Marcus, anything to report?
No report.
Miss Witt, anything to report?
It does pay to have your birthday on council night. So happy birthday, or I still think we ought to sing to her. Anyway, I did attend the opening day at West Carrollton School, not the opening day for the teachers, along with Mike and Ora and Terry. And it's always a pleasure to go and meet with some of the teachers and see the excitement, and you see them all come in. And I imagine the middle of the year, if we went back, they'd all be deflated.
Or the end of the year?
But anyway, we do need to keep the teachers in our prayers. And speaking of which, I'd like to extend prayers to Maxine Doherty. I understand that she's had a fall, and so my thoughts are with her, Mike. And everyone have a happy and safe Labor Day, and see you after Labor Day. And Brent, I will not be there Wednesday night. I was there last night.
No.
You can come any day you want.
Terry
I
thought it
know,
was
it was
last night, so I get there before her.
Then she calls me and I said, no, it's next Wednesday.
And she said, I just looked, it's next week. So anyway,
That was a prank.
anyway, no, it wasn't a prank. She really thought it was. But anyway, for once I was on time. Okay.
Mr. Miller, anything to report?
Nothing other than Ora, I hope you've had a wonderful day today.
It's been very busy.
Mr. Doherty?
Happy birthday, Miss Allen.
Thank you.
Also wanted to say thank you to the Moraine Parks and Recreation Division. Attended the final family fun night of the year. Had a good time, ate as much city barbecue as possible, and always enjoyed the bubble truck. Also wanted to thank our city manager and our street department. Had a resident reach out about some broken playground equipment, and they jumped right on it and had it fixed before the end of the day. And that really means a lot. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And then finally, I have already had residents reaching out about the walking path around Ora Everett's Park, and they're just as excited as can be. Have some residents that are Pokemon Go fans, and they have been establishing Pokestops, I guess, along the walking path. So they said this was an ideal time for that to happen as well.
Mr. Burchett?
Yeah, happy birthday, Ora.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I attended the monthly board meeting of the MVCC. That's all I have.
Okay, and I would like to say, everyone, please stay safe for Labor Day coming up. No school, so all the kids will be out of school that day. And I would also like to thank the Miami Valley Communications Council for broadcasting this meeting live, as well as any future rebroadcast. This regular council meeting is adjourned at 6:23.